This is the easiest possible free-to-play Phantom Shogun 2014 that I can imagine, and it's so good. What's up, guys? MtgJedi here. Good morning. How you doing today? I hope your weekend was wonderful. Happy Monday. And tomorrow, hopefully you have enough shards to pull for this summon event, because that will make your fusion so much easier. For now, we're talking Phantom Shogun. Big shout out to my dude F2P, longtime supporter of the channel here on YouTube and on Twitch. This dude is very, very good at this game, and we were actually talking, and he is mostly a mobile player, so we were talking about maybe bringing some mobile tips and tricks in a video. If you would be interested in that, please let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button, because we need more people to see this video. If you saw my video last week or the week before, I was talking about how to speed farm the Phantom Shogun's Grove. I came up with my own team strategy. Apparently it's similar to what some other people were doing, which is fine. But it's very, very quick. And the great thing about it is, even with the better champions that I have on my account, and Entropy's account is super stacked here as well, we actually, before I jump into it, I just want to say thank you, Entropy, for being so accommodating. He allowed me to switch gear and you know, save some teams and whatnot, so I really appreciate that. He's, you know, been really helpful so I could bring this content to you. Even with a crazier roster, you're still not going to get a much faster time here. They're very similar. So I wanted to bring this free-to-play version to you.
I've waited a long time for this moment,
because you guys need to see this. The most common thing I heard was, can we use Renegade instead of Kymar? What happens if we don't have Rio? You know, all of these different things, and this is going to be the version for you.
only one way to find out.
Mithrala, free champion. Nut, fusion. 1 epic in Ruella and 2 rares. Now, this team is not that difficult to build, but there are some key components that you really need to take into effect. One of those things that I see very often is from the clan shop. There's actually none in here right now, which is sad, but using this kill stroke artifact set is basically the same as the crit damage set, so they're kind of interchangeable there. But I know I use this set on my account as well for my team, and Entropy uses this set as well. So if you need some extra crit damage for the build, don't forget that you can use kill stroke or crit damage, or just getting crit damage in the substats. The reason why I say that is because Renegade or Kymar, they need to have the most crit damage in the team, because we want the Phantom Shogun to target our reset champion in order to put that debuff on them and not one of our damage dealers. So not only do they need to be at the right speed, they also need to have the appropriate crit damage. As soon as I start recording, the nose gets super itchy. My apologies. So we have Newt in the lead, we have Ruella for the decreased defense and weaken, and then we have Cold Heart for our other damage. Mithrala is going to give us some defensive abilities, but most importantly, the cleanse, okay? The cleanse is very important. That's the thing that I was missing with replacing Rio. Basically, if you don't have Rio, you have to run a cleanser and Ruella. So you need 2 spots to replace the Rio, because she's just amazing. Her kit is wonderful. So let's jump into the run. It's super quick, and then we will also show you the gear and all of the team setup and all of those things. So when you come in here, it's just gonna go super quick. We have the Mithrala in here. We have the Ruella. There's the Newt and the Cold Heart. You see the Shogun targeting here, and then Mithrala will cleanse. Then we'll reset, we'll take an extra turn, and we'll cycle back around to our abilities. There we go. There we go. There we go. We have some poisons that will help as well. And this is actually a slower run, but we were running a little bit faster than this, so there's a little bit of RNG on the time. Okay, yeah, so that seems to be the average, right around 42 seconds. And a lot of that RNG is dependent on the masteries. We have War Master, Giant Slayer, War Master, and Giant Slayer. And so those masteries, depending on how often they proc, will determine the speed of your team. After we go over the gear here, I will also show you his actual team, which is a little bit different than this. So if you have those champions, you can make that a little bit faster and a little bit more consistent. But for now, the most important thing to remember is that your Renegade needs to have the most crit damage. So she's at 318. The other thing to remember is that the speeds are important, but there is some wiggle room, okay? On Mithrala, he has her in Stone Skin. That's just his arena build. That gear set is not important to my knowledge, but she does need to go kind of fast. Obviously, she needs some accuracy to land the Hex. Newt over here, he's in Savage. I don't believe that that is 100% necessary, but you know, whatever build that you have on him should work. Most people running him around this speed here, and I think that that's pretty reasonable. Over here we have Ruella. Her most important thing is going to be damage and speed. She's got pretty decent stats, so it's not too hard to obtain. I got these with pretty similar stats with not as good of a gear as he has on his account here. And then in his team, he's going to be running Septimus and Kymar, which I stole Kymar's gear for the Renegade so that we could make sure we have those free-to-play champions. Let me throw that back on, and then I'll show you the run with his team, which ends up being a little bit faster and a little bit more consistent. One thing to note here is that Kymar/Renegade is in a shield set as well, and that's going to help your survivability and your consistency. You can see, like, the total stats. We have some HP and defense, and then, of course, the crit damage, and the speed is pretty slow. I think that you can run this same type of a build if you have your, your perception, your normal Kymar or whatnot, and you have him going super fast. I think you can just set the AI a little bit different, and I'll show you that as well. But I didn't test that, so if you want to run that version, you're going to have to sort of work out the details for yourself. And then total stats over here on Septimus are very similar to Coldheart. I tried to match them pretty closely, okay? So let's jump in and see his team in action, and we'll make sure we talk about the AI for both teams as well. Alright, so here's the AI for our first team here. We had Newt coming in here, disable A2, priority 1 A3. Ruella here with her opener and then swapping abilities. Coldheart, obviously, with her Heartseeker. Renegade is going to do the sacrificial ritual on her A3 anyway, but go ahead and put the 1 there. Mithrala, pretty important on the setup here, so make sure you don't miss that. Now let's go ahead and look at the setup for his team, which is right here. It's going to be basically the same thing, right? Bam, bam, bam. And then Kymar is going to do this first, and then Mithrala, same thing. So if we come in here, what you're going to see is this is very, very consistent. It's very fast, and you should definitely build this team. Before we jump into that run, I want to mention one thing so I don't forget it. Having Septimus in this team allows you to have somebody with Soul Reap, and that's pretty important to help with the RNG on this boss. I think you probably could put that on Mithrala instead, or you could put it on Newt. I know that I have that blessing on my Newt as well. So I think somebody in the team or even multiple people with Soul Reap could be a really great idea. So make sure you're trying to track down those blessings in the shop. Even the 1-star blessing is going to be helpful here. Alright, so let's actually look at the run with Entropy's team here, because it is amazing, it's fast, it's consistent, there's so many good things about this, and it's not like you're going to run this dungeon all the time, but what this dungeon provides to your account is unmatched. The ability to add like the crit damage, accuracy, and resistance stats to your champions is going to help you with endgame builds. The nice thing about Kymar is obviously we don't have to wait on that turn from Renegade, and that's pretty great as well. So you can see here, sometimes this is going to run a little bit slower, but 34 seconds. First run I did on the account, I hit the best time, which was 27. I think that is going to involve, you know, your Masteries proccing as well as that Soul Reap coming into play, but essentially it's really an awesome team, and you need this type of a strategy if you have these champions on your account. So let me know if you have questions about this. I'm sure Entropy will be around in the comments as well to help out answering some things. And if there is other strategies that you'd like to see for the Shogun here, let me know and I will be happy to cover them. But for now, I think this is the best, most accessible team. As you saw earlier, we have the free-to-play version. We have the little bit of upgraded version. You have a lot of options if you need to build a team for this dungeon. So take a couple minutes, use some silver, and build this team and farm Phantom Shogun 24. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for sticking around all the way till the end of the video. Have a great day.